Tonight's tactical enhancement is fruity. Tonight we're playing Warhammer, the old world, 1600 points, and we've got a lovely little hamlet in front of a castle on the outskirts of a wood, which has been infested with demons, and Doug has brought Tomb Kings. So whoever lives in that hamlet is probably shitting themselves right now. Doug, talk us through what you've got.
I have 26 skeleton warriors with spears, shields and full command.
Lovely.
5 horse archers.
Where there they are.
Yep. 10 skeleton archers with a master of arrows, which is their equivalent of a champion.
Excellent.
I have 3 cultural stalkers.
Yeah, in one of our 8th edition games, I was just talking about how they gave me a very rude surprise and I massacred a treeman or something in like one round of shooting. Yes.
Interestingly enough, in this edition, you can take, regardless of who the general is, you can take 1 unit in core. So they're actually in core. Not that it matters for this, because especially, but that was a surprise to me. So got 3 stalkers there, and then 3 chariots with full command.
Yep.
A unit of 6 Shabdi with great bows.
So that's 1 unit of 6.
Yes.
And they basically got the equivalent of a bolt thrower, or
not quite. It does 2 wounds, so it's not as good as a bolt thrower.
Oh, okay. But is that what a bolt thrower does now?
No, I think it's still D3. Or maybe it is. Maybe it does do 2 wounds.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But they can't shoot as far as a bolt thrower.
Okay.
2 tomb swarms.
Yep.
A screaming skull catapult with skulls of the foe. A necro sphinx.
No, don't we just love those?
This one has the envenomed sting.
What's the toughness on these bad boys now?
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, because I remember they were a real nightmare to try and beat up before.
Yeah, there used to be toughness. I don't think they are anymore, but I'll come back to you on that one. And then there's a tomb prince and
where's he?
He's there.
Oh, right.
And he has a great weapon. And then there's a leech high priest. He's a level 4. Using the law of necromancy.
Where is he? Oh, that fellow there. Right. Let's get this to focus. Law of necromancy, level 4. And he's what, a champion or, sorry, hero? Hero. Cool. Alright, that's 1600 points. That's some tiny little army, I have to say. And up against that, we have the silliness. The core is 2 units of 9 blue horrors, 3 units of 9 pink horrors, which means they're casting their spell on a 0 as a bound spell. 5 of the flamers, 2 units of 3 of the hyper-coloured t-shirts. Hiding back here under the wing of Big Daddy is I want to call him Liar Pants on Fire. I can come up with names for my characters that are perhaps not in canon as such, but he's a level 3 mage, but he's got 2 heads. He's got one of them tucked away like Zaphod Beeblebrox, but just trust me, he's got 2 heads, and that gives him an extra spell. And I did that because I was having trouble balancing the list. He's also got a thing that means he can't be wounded on a roll of a 1 or a 2. So you need to roll at least a 3 to wound him.
Bird?
No, this guy is this fella.
The floating disc man.
Yeah.
Yes.
With Big Bird, he's got an extra arm somewhere, we're not sure where. Might be hiding underneath that tatty loincloth he's got down there. And he's a level 4 mage. I'll give him battle magic to both of them. Just I don't think I've actually used battle magic before. Thought I'd give it a crack. So yeah, it's similar to the army I took last time. A few minor changes. I'll start doing more variation in due course, but this is only my 3rd game. I'm still trying to figure out how they fucking work.
Does the level 3 still get a +1 to cast, so you kind of cast as a level 4?
But that's a good point. All Tzeench to get +1, don't they?
Yeah, okay, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, okay. Good point. I'm glad you reminded me of that, because there's so many special rules I can't remember them all.
I remember that one, because it was to my detriment last time, so I did remember.
Well, yeah, because Big Bird here is cast at level 5. Yeah, he's a bastard.
He is.
So, for practical intents and purposes, this guy's a level 4 mage.
Level 4 and a level 5. actually.
Level 5.
I did look it up. The Necrosphinx has toughness 6, so no longer toughness 8.
Right, so I actually do have a running chance of wounding it.
However, he now has 6 wounds instead of 5, so they've kind
Alright, makes it more reasonable.
Yeah.
So before you needed a fucking cannonball to have a running chance of that thing.
Yeah, or poison arrows.
Oh yeah. But he's got armour there, doesn't he?
Not much. Only same as before. Heavy armor, but he's harder in that he has a 5+ regen now. He used to have no save besides armor. So.
5+ and 5+. All right. Well, that's good to know. Does regen work for flaming attacks? Oh my god!
I'm not used to having regen. This is the first time I've had anything with regen.
I thought it was going to be back up against Beastmen or something. I didn't anticipate going up against the restless dead who don't like fire.
In our last battle, a scarab-looking beetle landed on the battlefield, and I saw that was a sign that the Tomb Kings are restless and wanted to be let out. So
yes, there's a few bug corpses on the table still, which reminds me I haven't put on the fucking air guard yet. That means I'm going to lose D3 hit points. I'll sort that out, then we'll check in for deployment. Right, deployment is complete. Over here we've gone heavy on the demon left flank. The bin chicken is in the corner behind the trees because that's where all the shooting is. I've got blue, pink horrors over here and some t-shirts ready to try and get some sort of advantage on this lot. Over here I've got a sacrificial unit of blue horrors which are facing off against probably the nastiest things in the army. And I've got another flank going over here, so I've gone heavy on 2 flanks. And I'm hoping the combination of movement and shooting will help make that work. I have a cunning plan. We'll see if it's as cunning as a fox whose middle name is Cunning, or if it's more like Baldric. Over here we've got a swarm hardening in the trees. Bunch of spear. Phalanx of chariot. I love a phalanx of chariot. A phalanx of bolt thrower, which I'm not as keen on. Screaming skull catapult, the cute original version. Look at that thing. Yeah, it comes with a massive base because the base is built for the newer model.
I do have 2 of the new models, but I haven't got around to painting them.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that real estate they've got to play around on there. Then we've got one of these ginormous things in the back of the woods there.
And that is also being up base sized, so I just switched across.
Oh, slightly.
Yeah.
And a bit of like Cav, on Smart is hiding in the trees there, who will no doubt make a nuisance of himself. I'm going to take a few casualties on this flank, and this slot here are waiting to burrow somewhere inconvenient. On that note, let's grab a dice each. See who gets first turn, and you get a +1. Which you need. Oh, it's a tie. Let's try that again. Oh, bug, it's a 5. Oh, damn it, nearly. Alright, first turn to the Tomb Kings, and we'll check in after that. End of Tomb Kings turn 1. There's been a gradual advance of the line.
Sorry, my bad. And now with the reserve move, they would come back.
Oh, sneaky fuckers. Well, they've just moved up and shot and will move back. Basically, most of these guys picked on this one unit here, and you've got 3 in the end. The stone thrower fortunately misfired, but it didn't manage to damage itself in any way, shape or form. And these guys here peppered shots at these guys and didn't do anything. So I got off fairly lightly. I think there's some dude decided to move around to the back ranks using a spell or something, but we didn't bother to try and stop that. And that's it. We're now over to Tzeench, turn 1. Tzeench turn 1, and it was all special effects and no actual carnage. We shuffled around, we bounced a few guys. I held this fella back because at the moment nothing serious can shoot at him, and I haven't created the conditions yet to come running out. I gave him a proper save, open shield. Shuffled up these guys a bit. These guys have moved up to try and do useful things. Gave him open shield, and he cast a fireball on them. Knocked a couple of wounds off. I rolled pretty dismal this turn, to be honest. But these guys are in a good position. These guys are not in danger for another turn yet, apart from the shooting. We shot these guys at them, did nothing. Shot these guys at them, did nothing. Should have shot at them in hindsight, but yeah, didn't think of it. So, not a lot to report. Over to Tomb King's turn 2. Alright, end of Tomb King's turn 2. These bastards turned up. This line moved forward. They moved forward a couple inches faster than the other. No, these guys moved forward a few inches up faster than they otherwise would have because of a spell.
My will be done now.
My will be done, yes. These guys shuffled around and picked off 2 out of my 3 t-shirts over here. I'm not happy about that. These guys stood still and just shot. That thing stayed back there, presumably as a counter-attack, should I get close enough for them to warrant the effort. What else happened? They picked off a couple of these guys, but otherwise the shooting wasn't too bad. It was mostly just that hurt.
Screaming Skull Catapult, because it was bombardment, it scattered 6 inches, so the 2-inch crack wasn't really
That's right, because you blocked off your own line of sight. So that was reassuring, because otherwise it would have been problematic. The only thing about a bombardment is it auto deviates instead of landing on target.
That's on me. You did say at the start when you were doing your thing, oh, feel free to put any terrain down what you want, but I didn't grab a hill. I was like, no, we'll just leave it flat, like the planes. So that's on me. If I had a hill, I would have been a better shot.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, that's a good point. It's funny how you block your own line of sight, but we all do that. And yeah, these guys did their initiative-based attack at this guy.
And unlucky miss with everything.
Yeah, fortunately they rolled crap because I don't particularly like what they could have done to him. And now we'll move into Demon's turn 2. Alright, end of turn 2 for Tzeench, and I'm starting to get a bit of a twitch. I moved this guy to hide behind the infantry, and I moved the infantry up to dump all of my shots on that, and didn't wound a single one. Yeah. That's 28 dice, not a single fucking wound. Most vexing. These guys did a slash attack, flying over the top of this lot, knocked off a couple. These guys knocked off 1 or 2. That was all of that. Redeployed this fella to get him more in the action. He wasn't doing much over there. Means he might get hurt, but no guts, no glory. Moved up these guys to be more useful in future turns because things are going to have to move past this little fire corridor there, so that looks good to me. Over here, I moved up the flamers and positioned my character to blast these guys, and I blasted them with 5 flamers of Tzeench, flame off of my character, plus I hit him with a fireball, and I managed to knock off a total of 2 wounds. Fuck all, really, when you consider how many dice I hopped at them. All strength 4. And then I dropped a pillar of fire there just to make them make life a little bit more difficult for them. So a thoroughly underwhelming turn. Still, it's only turn 2. Hopefully we can get some carnage happening in just a moment. Over to turn 3 for the Tomb Kings. And the Tomb Kings turn 3, and the tactical enhancements are going through rather quickly, given that it's a stinking hot evening. The background hum you can hear is the fan that's attempting to cool us down. Right, now what happened? This guy came out to play, they all came out to play. We have to check the rules on this, but we've got it at the moment so that cavalry can shoot over the heads of infantry at a -1 to hit, which of course makes no difference to these fellas.
Yes.
I've also got a timely reminder that you can do a reform and still shoot, provided you don't move more than your base move, which of course has no minus to these guys. They can move and shoot without penalty. And they picked off another 2 of my t-shirts. Not happy!
Yeah, a bit unlucky.
This was a bit. Well, the things were better over here. The pillar of flame here went through these guys and bumped off 1 wholesale.
In my own turn as well, the outrage.
Yeah, all the pain after Sean did it to me. I thought, fuck it, I'm doing that to somebody else now. They then attempted a charge at these guys, but their angle wasn't quite right, and they lost too much movement in the wheel in order to line up to the charge, so they were out by 1/2 an inch. Thank fuck.
Did roll a 1 on my Swift Stride extra bit.
Yeah, that didn't help, and you only got a 4 on your standard roll, so
that's about average. Cut 4.
Four would be about average, but the 1 was crap. If you'd rolled even a 2 or more, you would have been in. So I got lucky there. So swings and roundabouts. Moving into the Tzeench turn, we'll see if I can fucking shoot something this time. That'd be nice. And we'll check in at the end of Tzeench turn 3. And Tzeench turn 3, and some things went right. That blasted template.
It'll automatically give ground.
Okay. So we're just working out the combat res over there, but that template was bumping off things rather nicely, pretty much doing to Doug what Sean did to me a couple of games ago. And then we blasted those, what are those snake things called?
The stalkers.
Stalkers, yeah, we blasted the stalkers with another volley of everything from this lot, and we just killed them. These guys manoeuvred to shoot through this far corridor here. Most of them could get a shot, not all of them on these guys, and shot a bunch of them. I killed a couple. These guys got some shots off and maybe killed one. The shooting from the pink and blue horrors remains mediocre, as demonstrated over here, where I pumped a bunch of shots into them and did 1, and pumped a bunch of shots into them and just killed 3 off, which is pretty average. My t-shirt, which I probably should be preserving just for points, I just moved them up here to see if I could get a cunning shot. Anyway, these guys here had moved about last time and killed off a bunch of my t-shirts over there. So the survivor, rather than trying to go for that, which you couldn't reach, charged his turn, just would have been killed, charged into the chariots here, and I got a fairly long range charge with my big birdie.
Yep. That's a charge, 19 inches.
Yeah, 19 inch charge. So he rolled a 5 and a 5. He needed 17 inches. So basically needed to get slightly above average in order to get in, 1 or 2 inches above average dice roll to get in, and he got it. With spare, actually. Crashed into the chariots, belted 1 completely. Didn't roll particularly well, actually, but he was enough to kill 1 outright. The t-shirt killed 1. They didn't do any wounds in return, and they had a bit of a crumple. So there's 1 chariot left and 1 wound.
Thanks to the standard. Without the standard, I think they would.
Without the standard, it would have been completely gone on that unit.
This bit is confusing because they're unbreakable, but it says they've got to give ground, but I'm kind of pincered and the pictures don't do it, so I think I'd just stay there.
I saw that he moved 2 inches backwards, but no, that's a bit of a strange one.
Yeah. The mine guys are there as well. It says you stop within 1 inch of an enemy. I know you can move through your own stuff, but with him kind of pincered, I'm not sure.
Well, give ground is a 2 inch move backwards, yeah, so we could do that, or we just ignore it. I think we just ignore it. Makes no difference to me anyway. On that note, I think that's pretty much it from a turn. This guy's been pumping out some decent fireballs, I have to say. Yep. And these guys finally figured out how to shoot. So some things are going well, some things are not going well. An example of things that are not going well is these pink guys, they just tried, all 3 pink guys tried to cast a spell which would reduce the toughness of their target, and they all failed it. Because I don't have many ranks in these units. I'm doing MSU, which is great for running around getting lots of shots, but I don't get much in the way of buffing the magic. And it shows, because I need an above average roll in order to get an 8. But that's it. We'll move over to Tomb King's turn 4 and see what the retaliation looks like. And of Tomb King's turn 4, let's see what happened. Well, these scurrying little bastards came running out. These guys reformed again and shot at these guys and bumped off a couple.
No, they did. Oh, at those ones, yeah. They did.
Yeah. These guys reformed and bumped off 1 or 2. These guys charged into the last t-shirt over there and sorted it out good and proper. And this guy charged into a unit of 9 blue horrors.
Yep.
And there was only, I think, 1 or 2 of them left doing a leadership test at the end of it, which of course was never going to prevent what was left from disintegrating on the spot. Which, you know, that's, what, 200 odd points?
Yeah, you'd hope so. I did debuff their leadership as well. So
oh yeah, that too. So 200 odd points against about 81 points. So I'm toying with the idea of using these guys as redirects. 81 points is an expensive redirect, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're losing the game over an 81 points, then you've done something wrong.
And they're still shooting. They've been doing something.
Well,
brought it back, but they have.
They should have been doing something, but they're shooting on this half of the table has been crap, where it's been good over there. The good news is we polished off that last chariot with great prejudice, although he did stick that fella
One
first. So we're now going into the last turn. It'll be Demon's turn 4 because it's nearly midnight, and we have shit we have to do in the morning. So I'll have at it, and we'll see what it looks like at the end of Demon's turn 4. End of turn 4 for the demons, and we're calling it just because it's pumpkin o'clock. Let's see, this lot all turned around and blasted that swarm and barely got it. This guy decided to show pony on the castle, which I wouldn't have done if it wasn't the last turn. I would have hidden him behind a building here out of line of sight of that catapult. But yes, we got the swarm. Let's see, we moved up these chaps here, and we blasted away and blasted away and blasted away, and we tried our magic in order to reduce the toughness. It didn't work. We couldn't pass a spell test to save our asses, and that's before you factor in that he would have tried to dispel it. So we only killed 7 of those archers. They just... I killed a lot of them. They kept coming back. What else? I saved the t-shirt. He's over here.
The tomb swarms?
Yeah, yep, got the swarm. They're dead. Here... I declined to charge with the blue horrors because I figure what would normally happen is, I mean, look, if I charged in, they would have slaughtered the blue horrors. I would have lost the combat badly. But if they had reformed to fight the demon, assuming the demon survived that, these guys would then be able to charge him in the flank. That would be useful. It would disrupt, in fact. But what happened was this guy came in. He actually rolled really well. He did alright. His stomp only got 1.
Is that a D3 stomp?
Yes, a D3 stomp. I got 1, but oh my god! You know what? I totally forgot to use hammer hand. Hammer hand might have won me the combat. As it turns out, because I'm an idiot and I forgot to use hammer hand, I belted this fella.
So did the challenge with the Tomb Prince?
Yeah, he did challenge with the Tomb Prince, thinking he would explode.
Just for giggles, really, not to actually.
But the Vasta's 5+ ward save worked a treat because regen save, because my attacks are not flaming. So I decided not to shoot this unit. I wanted to charge it. Because I was never going to destroy it from shooting. But I also thought I was going to do a lot more damage to it than what I actually did. Mainly because he took it on his character, and it did rather poorly on the stomp, and I was expecting to do 2d3 strength 4 hits from hammer hand, which I completely forgot to do.
Did that have affected the combat result?
Yeah, well there's this extra 2d3 strength 4 hits on your character.
Oh, because does that still happen in the combat?
Happens in the melee, yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So he probably would have been enough to belt him, because he actually absorbed...
He just survived on 1 wound only.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, how many does he start with?
3, because 2 prints. Yeah, like a lord, even though he's a hero.
Right, okay, one of those. So, and yeah, because they got the ranks and standard, etc., etc.
The plucky, the Emerald Prince got 1 wound through on the Lord of Change, which meant that
yes, right.
actually won the combat.
Well, I'm just thinking, does a behemoth in the flank cause disruption? Maybe. So I might not have actually lost. I don't fucking know. Either way, it was a close run thing, and so my smash and stomp, etc. didn't do what I thought it would, but my character's still there, and that unit's still there. It would have been nice to have killed your character. But in the wash-up, I think you've killed 2 complete units.
Yeah,
it's 220 odd points, 230 points thereabouts. What have I killed of yours?
You've killed 3, including the swarms, but they're worth a bit more.
Yeah.
Not heaps more, but a bit more. The chariot unit is, because they have full command, so they're about 150, and then the 3 stalkers are similar, so it's about 300.
So 300 plus
and then
a
the
swarm.
swarms are 75 or 74.
370 something, so up by about 140.
Yeah, I was
very, very minor victory.
Really, only 140. When I say that, I think that when I say about 150, I reckon they're worth maybe like 155, 160 and stuff. So,
but it's over 100, but it's not way over 100, so it's very much in the realm of minor victory.
Yes.
But we just managed to scrape through.
Well, I will start. I need to start as it gets close. I need to start asking you before I move. Is this going to be my final turn? Because they could have been invincible.
I don't know why you came running up with those.
Only because I didn't realise it was not going to be the final turn. And same with these, I would have tried to kill them instead.
I was always going to blast them because these guys were always going to end up in that melee.
Well, I did it thinking that I'd have another turn to do stuff.
Okay. Yeah, good thinking. Yeah, I see.
Same with here. I would have tried to kill them instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's after midnight. Otherwise, we'll be cracking on for another 2 turns because there's plenty of fight left in both of these armies.
Yes.
Including that shit show, which did not go my way at all.
It's interesting with the wheel charge in that I had it so that I think the closest dude, not the way that they are now, but the way they were before with the chariots. So because they're so wide and the angle, that the closest dude was 8 inches to the Lord of Change, so it's a very easy charge. But the far guy was 18 inches, which is an impossible charge.
So that's a really wide frontage.
It's an interesting, it's very different from how.
Yeah, we're back to 7th in previous editions.
We decided that was an impossible charge.
And look, I've played this game since 4th edition, and it's still taking me a while to acclimatise back to the old school way of doing charge ranges. It took me only a little while to get used to ridiculously long charges in 8th edition, but I don't know, did you play this before 8th edition?
I played a little bit of 7th. When I say I played like that, it was more I would only team up with them. They were basically doing things that I was just rolling a bit of dice. I wasn't really...
Right. So you've spent your entire gaming history accustomed to that.
Because I much preferred 8th to 7th. I started 7th probably at the tail when it was all wonky.
Oh, yeah.
And 8th I thought was really... And it's just it's a very clean game. It's quite quick to play for Warhammer, which is a very long game.
Yeah. Things certainly die faster in
yes, I like that.
Edition.
I like that it feels very much like a big battle. This is kind of skirmishy, but I like that it's very different and it's it's good to sink your teeth in. In terms of my army, I think it was definitely a well-deserved win because I completely misplayed my army, and you always say you learn more from a loss or just because I ignored all my rules. Like the chariots, I could have completely avoided that charge.
Yeah, you could have.
And so because chariots have reserve move, which I didn't know. Well, that's my fault. I didn't read it, so that each time I could have moved double, whereas I was moving shooting. And I didn't know that the reserve move lets you move again on the chariot. So chariots are actually a lot better than what I played them. And then the other bit was with the magic, with my level 4, because the hexes, you have to use it before you move. So my wizard was basically not much
that gets me by surprise as well.
Yeah, I was, all the...
We're a bit forgiving about the order that we do things in because we forget shit. But, there's some things like forgetting to use Hammer Hand a couple of turns in a row, because I could have used that to polish off a chariot a turn earlier and then bounce into the flank a turn earlier. I forgot to do it then.
Just also with the archers, because again, volley fire, and I'm still, because I still play 8th as well, but I'm in my head I was like, you can shoot in 2 ranks. And so of course I lost half my shooting repeatedly by my own fault, where I would think, that's cool, I will move up, I'll get the extra 3, and then Chris rightfully would remind me, well, no, you move so you don't get the volley fire. And I'm like, nah, that's right. So it was only the final turn.
It's the only way to learn, isn't it? Yeah. So, speaking of which, what have we learned?
The chariots have reserve move.
Yep.
Very good. Tomb Kings across the board, for the most part, have a 6+ regen. And Tomb Princes and Kings have a 5+, so we'll remember that. And
that was a weird surprise.
I only accepted the challenge really because I wanted to see the explode, which used to be pretty good, whereas it didn't happen because he actually won the combat. But it's now a leadership test and only, I think, D3 strength 2, so it's basically a kind of silly rule now.
So it's really only going to be effective if you get your head cut off by a passing elf.
Yeah, and even then, if they fail a leadership test, or maybe a goblin or something.
Oh yeah, just sort out a goblin. Well, if the goblin doesn't have a horde with it.
That's right.
So it's not quite what it used to be, but
I did learn as well. The Necro Sphinx is my first time using Tomb Kings in this rule set, so a lot of stuff to kind of learn and remember. But the Necro Sphinx, one thing that I'll remember is that it has the D3 plus whatever it is stomps, and then it also. It has the decapitating strike now as an extra attack, so it's quite different. So it effectively has more attacks than used to. It's got 6 total with
this thing was always scary, and it is still damn scary. Well, I remembered at this time that I can move and shoot without penalty with my
Yes.
my army, but I think range and quick to shooting twice still counts, I think. So there are still some things to bear in mind. I was usually shooting on a needing a 5 to hit instead of a 4 because it's quick to fire, and yeah. So there are some things to learn. This army takes some getting used to. I think sometimes the dice helped, sometimes they didn't. I can't complain overall though, to be honest.
Yes.
But it certainly is dependent on a bunch of things, and I couldn't outmaneuver you and get my shooting and my flanking in because you're
My swarms did a good job at neutralising that flank. It's one thing for anyone watching, which I'm not sure if I've learned or not. Historically, in previous editions, Tomb Kings could never stand and shoot. Looking at my quick scan, I didn't see something that would stop them from standing and shoot if they get charged. But I'm assuming they still can't. But please, if you're watching, can Tomb Kings now stand and shoot in this edition?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because the Tomb Kings are horrifying when you take a shooting army.
In terms of probably the biggest thing which I'll remember is that a Shabdi have had a huge boost over the previous edition with the bow's ballistic skill 3 now. With no modifiers is huge. They used to do ballistic
the
skill
fact
2.
that they can reform on the spot and shoot, that's fucking horrid.
30-inch range. It's
Put them in the
hard
middle
to
of the
run.
table and they just dominate the ground.
If they weren't here, he would have come out much.
You know what I need to deal with these bastards? A couple of organ guns. That's what I need.
How far can they shoot?
About 30.
So it's the same though, but they can almost have a shoot off though. It's not so.
That's true.
And they used to be only doing 1 wound with ballistic skill 2. I did unfortunately the first round of combat, first couple of turns only used the ballistic skill 2, but now with each shot doing 2 wounds.
Yeah.
And more accurate, and they're the same points as they used to be. Plus, they now have a regen save.
Because they're not affected by range and other modifiers,
it's unbelievable.
That's 3 guaranteed hits at strength 6, 2 wounds.
If one unit in the Tomb King army is better than it was, it's hands down their most improved. Same points, better by at least.
People talk about how hard it is to kill a dragon. I reckon these guys would have a pretty good go at it.
Great. To make the dragon choose where to go because 30-inch range, no modifiers to shooting.
Yeah, they can take a volley from that once, but 2 or 3 times, and the prospects are not great.
Strength 6 too. That's in this edition. I reckon they're armor piercing 2 as well. So
something like that. Yeah. Well, that was good fun.
Great game, great learning game for me. It's a lot, despite the lack of things killed on both sides, a lot more happened than maybe looks like. It was a very cagey kind of nip-tuck kind of battle, and I thought it was excellent. And in terms of the Tzeench list, I actually feel that this is probably stronger than the last one, in having the level 4 caster plus the level 5 caster.
Making him level 3, and I even gave him an extra spell, and because of the +1 to cast, and everything except for a dispel, this guy is effectively a level 4 mage. So, level 4 and a level 5 mage in effect. Those fireballs did the job.
I had a chance with Sasang early. That was the guy. I tried it, but I just rolled a bit unlucky. That would have been huge.
Yeah,
with
those stalkers were pretty rough.
But yeah, just couldn't get it.
And look, you had some shit dice rolls. Your catapult and 4 turns of shooting misfired twice and managed to miss wildly the other 2 times.
Oh yeah, the catapult didn't hit. I think it didn't do a single thing. Hey, it didn't blow itself up, so
that's true. It's still there, and as a dwarf player, I
removed it, but it would be there.
I always appreciate it when the fucking things don't blow themselves up.
Yes. Oh, the Skulls of the Foe upgrade doesn't make that much of a difference in this matchup because the demons are immune to psychology, but now, even with a missed scatter dice, with it dropping the leadership around it, that's a very interesting nuance that it used not to have. It is a little bit more expensive, and the upgrade is pretty expensive. It means it's 125 points overall, but I like that it differentiates it from the other army's Stone Trolls and gives the Tomb Kings a nice little...
That's right, because that thing used to cause fear or something when it hit units.
It still does, an immediate panic test. But that leadership, because now it means even if it scatters, it's a 2 dice worth bobble of -1 leadership, which on some things that could synergize with you do that at the start and then try to cause a panic test later.
That's right. If you got other things going on, and I suppose you would if some screaming soul embedded in a skull, which just happens to be an artillery piece, lands nearby. You're probably going to be a bit put out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I still can't believe that the Tomb Prince actually survived the Lord of Change and managed to get a cheeky wound off.
you got to remember the Lord of Change is a mediocre fighter.
Wow, I mean, he's still a big ass. It's still scary for a...
With that great weapon, yep, okay, he can do a bit of damage, but he's not a bloodthirster, not by any measure.
No, absolutely not. Not even a keeper of secrets. But very fun game. I've technically owed 2 versus Tzeench, but I actually really like it as an opposition army, even though it's pretty sneaky. I love the units of 9. Very thematically on point.
Getting the numbers, the magic numbers back in is great.
And while 8th is still my jam, I love how your pink horrors look on the bigger 30 mil bases with the big ass hands. They just really pop. And flamers,
old school Marauder miniatures.
Yeah.
Well, look, thanks for the game. It was a blast.
Oh, pleasure.
And
great to try Tomb Kings.
For anyone who's actually lasted this long, thanks for watching. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, tell your friends, point out what we did horribly wrong. But for us, time to call it a night.